Hello and welcome to another episode of Sandy Killer Projects. As you can see here, we have one of our lovely project cars in front of us. This car in particular, we had all sorts of things that we wanted to do to it, such as Lambo doors. It actually has gull-wing doors on it. We managed to put 33-inch tires on it without lifting it at all. So to do that, we recently put 18-inch extensions that allowed the wheels to sit all the way out here and have full turning radius in either direction. Over the course of the last handful of weeks, we put these Lambo doors on it, which are the main functioning door for the car. We also put gull-wing doors on the back, which was something that we created to make it work, and they don't really work. The door actually does still function, but the biggest problem with the functioning door is there's no shocks on it to hold the door up. So as of right now, if I let go of it, it just falls and shuts. So that's the way both of the back doors are because of how we had to mount the shocks into the back. It was too dangerous to leave them on, so we took them off. These are completely functional on both sides and work. Today's video, though, isn't so much about all the little improvements that we did. Today, we're going to take this bad boy, we're going to drive it around in our field. All right, so in case you didn't see our last video on our wheel extensions, let me show you what they are made of. So we took a 12x12 plate and we added studs to the back of it to allow it to fit 4 of the 8 holes on the 8-lug pattern. Then we put an 18-inch pole and put flanges on either side for lateral support. Then on the disc side, we put a much smaller bracket that does exactly the same thing, but since this is a 4-lug pattern, that's exactly the way it fits all the way around, and everything seems to work fairly well for what it is. So let's go drive it around and take a look at it. All right, so if you've seen our video where we blew up the airbag in this, it actually still starts up and runs just fine. It didn't affect the functionality of it at all. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drive it around with me holding the camera, which is gonna be interesting because it's a little hard to steer this thing with. All right, so one of the first things that you notice in this car is there's a lot of road noise, mostly because the doors are not completely shut because of how we had to set them up to make them work. But if you notice, the wheels are actually doing everything that I want them to do. I'm just a little leery of where my wheels are because they stick out so far. I don't want to crash into our storage container or anything else that's on the property. So I'm going real slow to get out into the field. All right, so this is it. She functions just like a regular car. Looks a little sketchy. Wheels seem like they're moving around a little bit, but you got to remember there's 18 inches of extra travel on each wheel as you're using it. This is a 1.2 liter non-turbo car, and because of that, it really doesn't have a whole lot of get up and go even with these tires on it. The weight of the tire and the weight of the extension is more than double the weight of each individual original stock tire on this car. Now, the interesting bit of this is it does have a tendency to pull a little bit in both directions, but again, that's also because of the fact that we're sticking out 18 inches in each direction with these extensions on it. All right, so it looks really sketchy, and it actually is. I put my wife in the driver's seat to let her try it out, and the car is kind of sketchy to drive, but you get used to it real fast. All right, so in my attempt to drive it just now, I tried to spin the wheels, wouldn't do it. Engine is not powerful enough to cause this to be able to break loose. We did do a little off-roading in the dirt, and it gets very, very difficult to control because the wheels start to pull towards ruts in the front. Also now that we're driving it a little bit, something in the front of the suspension is starting to clank. I have a feeling it's either tie rod or something like that that is giving up under the stress of all this. So this car is not meant to be continued to be driving. This car is eventually going to be destroyed in one of our videos. So for now, we're going to put the stock tires back on it. All right, so I just got it back over to the garage, and this is probably going to be the last time you're going to see it like this with these wide wheels on it. The one thing I will say about this car is remarkably stable. It bites the ground really, really hard, but that's also part of the problem. It bites so hard that when you go to turn, sometimes the wheels are so much into it that it won't let you easily correct whatever steering direction is going, and especially if it pulls on its own, it becomes very difficult to recover it. Interesting car to drive. I've never driven anything quite like this. It's almost as wide as, like, say, the entire lane of the road would be. So if you enjoyed watching all these projects on this 2014 Chevy Spark, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm not going to keep dumping money into projects that I can easily destroy unless people are going to watch them. So make sure you watch, make sure you tell your friends, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like. Thanks again for watching. See you in the next video. All right, one more thing before we completely wrap up. I wanted to show this when we were building it, but that's the difference between the stock front wheels and the extended large truck tires. Thanks again for watching.